a few weeks after moving here, bumped in, well, a neighbour came to see us, and my neighbour was Paul Binns, as most people know, makes the most amazing sword. So Paul came round, and with a lot of research and books and living history research and stuff, and then I thought, what am I getting into here? But I managed to make him a drinking vessel, and he showed it to his mates. His buddies wanted one. Right, so eventually I gave up the porcelain and I started researching reenactment pottery. I've got a lot of research here. I don't know if you can see these books properly, but I work from a lot of manuals. So people send me pictures. Like last week I was sent a picture which I recognised immediately as being from West Stowe. So I have made that pot to demonstrate how I will decorate that. And I have got the West Stowe book with the evidence of the pot here. So that is very, very helpful, with the reference showing me everything that I need to know about the making of that ceramic. I also work a lot from the Anglo-Saxon corpus of Anglo-Saxon pottery of the pagan period from the Cambridge University Press. So all those pots in there have been found, dug up, reconstructed, drawn, and they are all logged and registered in the other huge book here, which has all the information that I need to know what clay was used, where it was dug up, who dug it up, how many pieces it was in, and a broad outline of what it looks like, so I know how to throw it when I come to make it. So if I can get this pot a little nearer here. So all the decoration is made as authentically as possible. The clay is bought in. I have dug clay and made my own pots from dug clay from our land here. But to be honest, it's such a lot of work and process. I buy clay in now. This one is going to fire pretty much this colour, so it will be a brown pot. These tools here are antler horns. Now, each of these is carved with the stamp mark, and I give my orders to Paul Binns, and he will carve these for me. And so they're all from research-based designs. So when you press into the clay, you need to have your hand the other side, and you gently press the mark in. And as you go round, you can see it makes a really lovely indented pattern around that pot. So this will go all the way around in one band. And I won't do the whole thing because you'll get bored. And then just a little antler horn with a sharp end will do. And then you underline that. So that goes round the whole pot. And then from there, I see from the design that I need to come down in 3 lines. So that's my first one. And then there'll be another one here. And another one here. And from there, it will go down in 2 loops. And this particular pot is infilled with another design, which will then fill that space. So you can see how the pattern starts to build up as you work. And this particular pot from West Stowe has the circular pattern. No one actually knows exactly what these little stamps meant, whether this was representing the sun or not, we don't know. But that fills that triangle. You find a lot of these designs, especially the Anglo-Saxon ones, were built around the triangular shape. And then the next section, if I'll come around a little bit further. The next one goes down again. And that is infilled with a little portcullis shape. And again, that will completely fill that section. So you can see it's quite methodical. It's very absorbing as you work. I can get quite lost in some of these designs. And it takes quite a while to get used to the imprint. And actually it takes quite a while to finish a pot. This pot I started making on Tuesday. So here we are Friday, and by the time I've finished all that decoration, it will be ready to stand and dry. Okay, so that's what it's going, that's the design there, and that's now imprinted into clay. All the pots are based on as much authenticity as possible, following research from the internet, museum pieces, archaeology, publications. Pots for museums and historical display are fired in a pit, so they're generally fired at a lower temperature as they would have been in the day. Pots for reenactment, I fire to a higher temperature in an electric kiln. This makes them more robust for the reenactment events, camping and transporting. Some reenactors like to have an internal glaze for hygienic reasons. If that's what you require, just ask, it's not a problem. I carry quite a large stock of pots, but I also enjoy receiving commissions. So if you need a specific pot made, email me at kate@bodgersfarmpottery.co.uk. The address is up there. With as much detail as possible, including good pictures with measurements and the source of your information, so that I can do my own research on the same pot. We post all over the world, so that's not a problem either. I think last week one went off to America, 3 to North Wales, 80 went down to Kent. Yeah, so it's all over. Payment can be made by bank transfer, PayPal, to howard@bodgersfarmpottery.co.uk, or phone card with details. I even accept a check if you remember what they are. Right. This is one of my favourite designs. This is a Neolithic pot. This would cost you around about £25 to £30, this sort of size pot, depending how much decoration there is on it. As you can see, it's a very similar clay to this one, but it has darkened in the firing, and I have got a mix of clay there, so you get a lovely sort of swirl of terracotta and brown clay. That little pot would be useful for heating over a pit fire, or it would be used for your breakfast in the morning, for your porridge oats. It could be used for anything. And by the way, all of these pots can be used in a modern kitchen, so if you want to cook with them, do so. They don't thermal shock them, that's all. This little one, Anglo-Saxon cooking pot, 2 little handles at the side. This is terracotta. This has been fired in the pit outside in my garden. There's a big hole in the ground, which you fill up with pots and sawdust and wood chippings, and it usually burns to about 900 to 1,000 degrees over a period of 12 hours. And that would be perfectly safe for cooking. You could even, if you really wanted to, scrub them clean or put them in the dishwasher if you really wanted to. That one's about £26, that one. What else have we got over here? These, I sell a lot of Viking jugs. The little spouted Viking jugs are very, very popular. This one has got a little bit of glaze at the bottom, but it's not obvious. It only goes to a certain point. So if you've got it full, then as far as reenacting is concerned, you can't see the glaze. But it does help if you want to keep it nice and clean. But that, again, that you can kick that into the fire embers. You can keep some water hot in there for your cups of tea or whatever. This usually retails at around £45, this one. it's a fair amount of work. It's a paler clay, but again, you can see that's the stamp mark on the pot I've just demonstrated, and it's there. So those lines would have been made with the antler horn, and there's your stamp mark, which is the little circle within a circle. This one's a slightly later pot. This is more medieval with the combing. That's very easily done while you've got it on a wheel. You just spin the wheel with the pot on it, and you drag your comb round. Why they were combed, not sure. This one was found sort of 1100 or something in London. So that's, again, it's a jug. What else have we got here? One of my favourite periods is Anglo-Saxon Viking. And I do make an awful lot of sort of camping kitchenware. So this would be used for storage. And you can make yourself a little wax cover to keep the flies out. That little one is around about £18 with the little pushed out bosses. Those little pushed out bits, it does give a little bit more storage space, which I presume is why it's done. Those have to be done while the clay is still wet, so that you can actually put your hand inside and push the shape out, keeping control on the outside while you do it. So that's a little Anglo-Saxon bosses. And there's another one with pushed out bosses, but they go all the way around. And this is a little Anglo-Saxon drinking beaker. And that, again, is a mix of clays, so you get this lovely swirl of terracotta with the brown.
And can you make a Viking wine mug?
Yes, indeed. I would prefer to have some pictures if you could send me that. I always like to have a picture of exactly what's in their mind, so that it's we're singing off the same sheet, so to speak. So a picture and some source of authenticity would be lovely, so I could do my own research. If I can make it, I will. If I can't, I will tell him. So I mean, that's the way I work. If I find that I can do it, then I will.
Right.
Another very popular thing, which has been since it's been on the school curriculum, is the Bronze Age beakers. Now, I don't know how many I've made of these, but these again are terracotta. They are fired with some aging on this one, because during the winter it's quite difficult to fire the pit when it's so it gets very soggy out here on the fen. So this one I've given a special treatment to and fired in an electric kiln, so it does make it a more even colour. But you can see from the decoration, these take quite a long time to make, and they are quite fastidious in their decor. That's one. And you can see from this one, this is all made just by a little stick. Any old stick will do, of a branch, a twig, and it's all in little dots. And they take quite some time to make, but they are fun to do. So that's your Bronze Age. There's one more there, slightly different shape. So apart from a few little bowls, I haven't got very medieval things out at the moment. If you have a particular medieval pot in mind, just send me the picture or send me the source of the research, and I can look that up. I have a number of books here that cover the medieval period, and as you can see, there's 101 pots. I can't keep that amount of stock. It just doesn't work. So send me pictures, and I'll get it made. That's a nice little cooking pot with an indentation around it. That's actually this clay, but fired to a much higher temperature. There's a wee cooking pot there. That's Anglo-Saxon, and it could actually it's verging into Viking, because you've got these double zigzags all around. Again, terracotta. That will take a good stew. That will sit on your trivet all day long. And again, once it becomes got its own patina with the cooking oils and things, they're really easy to clean. These ones are all about These all sell at around £25, something like that. Another cooking pot. That's more of a medieval cooking pot with these ridges here. That's your Roman cook pot with a lid, and that goes on the coals with your chicken inside, and then when your lid goes on, you put coals around here and coals on the top, and you can roast a chicken in 1 hour in those. Yes, you can, and any sort of oils will do it. Cooking oils, but once they've been cooked in, they take the oil from the food as well. So yes, I mean, it's not necessary, but it can be done, because with the reenactment pots, I do fire them slightly higher than the museum pots. So they're not total replicas as such, because they are higher fired than they would have been, which means the clay is vitrified. If the clay is vitrified, it's not going to be porous. So it's when the clay is porous that you get into problems, because it will absorb the liquid from your cooking, but these pots won't, because they've been fired a lot higher. Really, my passion is prehistoric up to middle ages. I do touch on the Tudor, but I mainly leave that to Jim the Pot.
Right.
That's his speciality. So I do a little Tudor, not a lot.
So what sort of waiting time would people have, delivery time?
It depends a little bit on the use of the kilns, and it depends a little bit on the weather for drying, but on the whole it's about 2 to 3 weeks. If you've just missed a big firing, then it's going to be more like a month to maybe 6 weeks, but I can always get things through quickly, especially in the summer months when the pit's working well, the sun shines out, the pots are drying, etc. So it varies a little bit. Or you might be lucky and I've just had a big kiln firing and I've got exactly what you want. So you know, there's always that. I mean, someone phoned me last week for 2 Anglo-Saxon pots, which I happen to have. So he phoned me one day, sent me a picture the following day. I sent him a picture back of what I had in stock the same day, and we posted them that afternoon, and he paid me by PayPal, and the whole thing took 3 days. So it just varies.
Right, and where are you based? Is that a shop or a workshop you have there?
This is my, as I like to call it, the studio.
Okay.
Howard can show you around. Oh, it's a point there.
I'll hide that.
There we go. That's where I work.
But thank you, Kate. That was lovely to see all that stuff, and the fact that she takes commissions and books, and I feel sure that the history of the if the items you want are, you know, safe in her hands with all the research she does.